Do I have to get closer or is this okay?
Maybe a little closer. Or you can just pull.
I feel like my legs are too long
No,
for
no,
this table.
it's cool. Just pull the mic to you.
To me?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, as close as you want. Yeah, that's
okay.
cool.
Can you wait? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you for coming. First of all, I appreciate it very much. We've talked a lot over the last month. This is Burn the Ship. The goal of Burn the Ship is to connect entrepreneurs and professionals that can help you go all in on your business, right? We want to talk to people that have walked the walk and talked the talk and been through all the things that we experience as small business owners and come out the other side a better person for it, right? And so why don't you introduce yourself? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business? And again, thank you for coming. I really do appreciate you allocating the time. It means a lot.
Sure. I'm excited. My name is Kristy Ventre. I am the owner of Ventre's Adventures. I am an international outdoor travel company. I think a lot of people confuse me for a travel agent, but that is not what I do. So I have...
That is for sure. Yeah, you are not a travel agent.
No, do things a little bit differently. I guess technically speaking, we're like a tour operator. So.
And you're like, I'm going with you.
Yeah, for sure. I am that person. So, I started Venture's Adventures coming up on 5 years. Prior to, I was a teacher for 13 years, high school and middle school. And I kind of got involved with student study abroad programs and things like that through my high school tenure. And we had a couple of experiences that weren't really awesome, I guess, is the polite way to say it. And so because of that, my students kind of spoke with me about starting my own company. And 5 years later, here we are.
Right.
Yeah.
And so tell me, in your background in teaching to this transition, what was that transition period like? Did you keep teaching for a while and trying to run your company? Or kind of what was the crossover?
I think I am definitely the definition of a workaholic. So when the company first started, I didn't know really anything, just because I have been a teacher for so long. All my degrees were in humanities, education. I didn't come from a business background. I just knew how to travel and how to travel well. So for the last 5 years, I was teaching full-time, coaching lacrosse, doing student government, and then also running the company at the same time. And it just got to a point where things were growing so much and I was becoming so passionate about Ventre's Adventures and our mission and our vision. And at the same time, teaching was becoming something that I didn't recognize as much. Mm-hmm. I love the kids. The kids are always the best part, but the other side of it was becoming very difficult.
Sure.
So it just seemed like a good time for me to go ahead and take the leap and see what happens.
Sure.
So, yeah.
How long's that been?
Since I took the leap?
Mm-hmm.
Well, August.
Yeah.
So everyone went back to school and I am doing it full time. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's been a couple months.
And so where does Ventre's Adventures go?
Everywhere. I guess everywhere that you would like. There's a couple places that I think maybe Antarctica we won't venture to anytime soon. But it depends. So there's 2 different facets of the company, or I guess technically 3 now that we're growing. We have our student study abroad programs where I work with teachers and we decide where that teacher would want to take his or her students based on the curriculum. So if you're teaching environmental science or biology, things like that, we tend to go to places that are a little bit more geared towards science. So South Africa is really popular for us. Iceland is very popular for us. Other places in South America, that seems to be the science way. If you're teaching language or history or even ELA, English Language Arts, we tend to stick to Europe because it matches the curriculum better. So there's really anywhere you want to go is totally fine for that. For the adult trips that we have, I'm very big into the outdoors. So we tend to have some pretty big ski trips or mountaineering trips, and those take place all over the world.
Sure. So and where did you guys just go? Where did you just get back from?
So we just got back from Washington. We summited Mount Baker, and it was really hard, and it was amazing. The year before that, we did Kilimanjaro and a couple of other small domestic climbs. But Mount Baker was very challenging because it was glacier trekking, and there's a lot more danger and technicality to a hike like that or a climb like that than you would see on Kilimanjaro.
And everybody got back safely?
Everyone got back safely, yes.
Nice. So how long were you out there?
So we were in Washington for a week because I like to plan the fun touristy things for people. But we were hiking for about 3 days.
Nice.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I know it's a pretty, that summit's beautiful also. Yeah. But yeah, I saw some of the pictures from there from when you sent me out. I kind of went and looked what the climbing's like. And let me explain All right. I think if you're sitting behind the camera right now, your perspective is like very business focused as to, obviously the trend of the podcast, right? You're thinking about, the trips that you're taking and the money that you're making and how you can bridge that gap. And they're thinking from a very financial standpoint, right? And I did too, until I started to see some of the pictures from what you were sending me as far as like some of the stuff that you have upcoming, right?
Yeah.
And I completely threw all the logical thinking out of my brain, right? Because some of these places that you go and some of these experiences that you are kind of the conduit for a lot of people for experiencing are incredible, right? So I wanted to say that to you as well as like my wife and I have looked at a lot of places, right? I enjoy traveling and I am not very traveled, right? So my goal is to be more traveled, and that is the experiences and stuff like that is what we really enjoy spending our money on, right? And so it really hit home for me to look at a lot of the stuff that you are doing and have done in the past and think that I am that exact person that can try that experience on for size, right? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the people behind the camera are the same way, is like, take the business side of things out of it for the next 60 seconds and think about what life is like after you come and summit a, what is it, 17,000 and some change foot mountain? That
was not Mount Baker, but yes, that's
how big is that one?
Baker was only like 10,800 feet, but it was very technical, so that was the hard part.
Yeah. So like, if you think about some of those beautiful things that you see, it is just a very, very different type of experience, and you weigh that investment very differently.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to be like, oh, this trip is this much money. Oh, it's easy. Like, that was literally where my mind went when you were like, oh, here's how much it is to do some of the stuff that we're doing in the future. And I was like, that is nothing. And I even told you to charge more.
Yeah, I think everyone tells me to charge more. So we're going to get better at that. But yeah, I like to say mountaineering is very much like type 2 fun. It's the kind of fun that totally sucks in the process, right? Because you're carrying like a 50-pound pack. It's hot. We were in the middle of a heat wave in Seattle when we were there. And you're literally just putting your body through like this grueling task, right? But then when it's done, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Like, that was epic. I can't wait to do it again. And it just like starts the cycle of the outdoors of like, it was amazing. I can't wait. This is terrible. Why am I here? I hate this. Can't wait for my next one.
Yeah.
And that's basically the cycle.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to me a little bit about the business side of things, right? What were you really good at the beginning that helped you be successful?
I think I still am very good with people. Like, I'm very passionate about people, and I really want people to have the best possible experience. And like you said, kind of instilling confidence in people, thinking that they can do hard things. You know, from a teacher standpoint, you want to make sure teachers feel comfortable taking kids abroad. From a parent standpoint, you want to make sure that they're feeling comfortable letting their kids go to another country. And then from like a kid standpoint, they are totally outside of their comfort zone. So this idea of making people feel comfortable and that they can do this and that it's going to be amazing. I'm just a very passionate and enthusiastic person. So to me, I felt like the people part and like the trip planning part, that was easy because I've always loved that. And that's just what I've always done.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. How did you learn all these things that you know about travel?
I just kept booking flights and going, and then I have never met a stranger because I love to talk.
Yeah.
So, and then again, like relationships are very important to me. So whenever I would meet people traveling, I always made sure to like keep up with those relationships and those connections. And then over time, it just becomes like a wonderful network in and of itself.
Sure.
So I've made a ton of mistakes traveling, like, you know, but it's not, I think that's what your 20s are for, right? Like you travel, you backpack, you're in all these places. You're like, ooh, probably shouldn't do that again. So that makes it easier when you're planning trips for like kids and it's like all of these things, or adults and you're on a mountain. Like I've had enough experience to be like, hey, like eat this, not that, or don't take this before you summit a mountain, because like if your stomach is upset, like there's nowhere to hide that in the wilderness. And same thing for kids, you know, you want to make sure they're safe. Like don't keep your passport in your back pocket. It's just little things you learn.
Right.
So
yeah, for sure. No, yeah, that's incredible. I wish I had. I think I learned a different set of things in my 20s.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think everybody has a different curriculum.
Yeah.
What was really difficult? at the beginning of the business side of things?
I think everything, right? Like I came from a teacher background, and so I'm really good with people. I'm really good with organization and responsibility. But, coming from...
You just didn't know what you didn't know.
I knew I needed to surround myself with everyone who was smarter than me. And then coming from a non-business background, that's easy. So you just find anybody and you're like, oh, please be my mentor and all the things. So everything about it, like the legality, the insurance, all of that part was hard, but it's nice now because I feel like I understand it. And so when people ask me questions about things, like I can absolutely tell them, as a matter of fact, like, this is X, Y, and Z, and here's why. So, but there's still a lot that I'm learning.
Yeah, for sure.
There's that,
How do you go through the process of finding those people that help you learn that stuff?
I think the first thing I did was I looked at the Small Business Association, I think. So my first business coach, came from there. This sounds bad, and I'm sure I'll catch some heat for this, but I have stayed away from social media. Like people who claim to be experts on social media about certain things, if you do enough research, and I'm sure that there is always like the exception of people who are actually experienced in social media with what they're kind of like advertising. But the more I have looked into what I don't know, the more I have found out that people outside of the social media realm, like the people in the Small Business Association, the people who own these really big businesses, the people that are kind of like under the radar, those are the people you want to learn from, right? They don't have to let people know they're so awesome. They just are. And so you learn a lot from them in that regard. So I kind of would just meet people out and about, kind of ask my friends who are in the business world, like, who do you get your mentorships from? Like, who are people that you know? And slowly but surely people start like pointing you in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, for sure. I think that what you're saying about the social media is very, very true.
Like, you don't need to pay $4,000 for a business coach when the Small Business Association actually gives you a free mentorship program. And those people have made millions upon millions of dollars, and then they've sold and have become even more wealthy. And so they do this for fun, and they want to help people. Those are the people you want to be in your corner.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because what drives them is something different than their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I agree. It's a very difficult thing at the beginning, though, too. I think that you have a very particular skill set for navigating stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
everything's always a mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just depends on whether or not it's real or a metaphor.
Yeah, but you find a way, like, I think that, like, what you see in the movies is, like, people just trekking their way up mountains. You know what I mean? Like, people that just grit it out. Like, that is a rare human trait. I think people don't realize that is a rare thing to be hard like that. You know what I mean?
Thanks. I cry sometimes, though.
No.
So don't give me that much credit.
No, I just mean in everything in life.
Yeah.
Like, you just ask the questions to different people until you find the answer. I think that's something to be admired because it's rare.
Thank you.
And I'm the same way. Trust me. Like, I have done maybe like 300 of these, right?
Yeah.
300 Burn the Ships. I've maybe done 200 Soup Sandwich episodes, maybe. Mm-hmm. And those are a lot more difficult on the production side of things, right?
Sure.
So, like, I maybe have spent 2,000 hours in front of a camera, right? Like, it's been a ridiculous amount. And I wasn't that ask until you figure it out. That wasn't me. That just wasn't my approach. I didn't know, and I knew that I wanted things to be a certain way, and I wanted to have my own twang on everything that I did. I wanted all of the stuff that I did to look a little bit out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at some of the old stuff that I did on live production side, you're like, that's very atypical of what, like, SportsCenter looks like. You know what I mean? But it was done very, very intentionally, just because, like, I found what worked for me. So I think I'm a little different even in that regard. That's what I mean, I think, when it's rare, because, like, I'm not the guy that can sit down and learn how to edit video in 8 hours. Like,
right.
I don't have the mental capacity to sit down and try to figure out one problem for 8 or 10 or 12 hours, right? And that is a thing to be admired. It's a rare thing to be that diligent about what it is that you do, because I think the human side of us hinders all of us from being that exact same thing. So it's really, really cool.
Want things to be done well, and I want them to be done right, and so I have no shame asking for help. And as a teacher, though, you have no shame anyway. Like, the things you do in front of the classroom to keep people's attention, there's just no shame. And like you said that you've seen some stuff on social media, like my videos are very goofy. Like it's just who I am as a person. And if you don't like it, like that's okay. Then I'm not for you, and I don't need to be for everyone.
For
like,
sure.
You know? So
yeah, for sure. Yes, I think that you're refreshing though. I think that probably most of the people that run into you are better off for it.
That's very kind. Thank you.
No, yeah, no problem. So where are you going next?
Okay, so we have a rim to rim hike in 3 weeks. We're hiking the whole Grand Canyon in a day. It's like a big fitness challenge. And then after that,
how many miles is that?
23.
Yeah.
23 miles a day.
How much elevation?
It's looking like about 6,000 feet of elevation change between like the going down part is easy, you know. They say like it's voluntary.
It's not as easy as sitting on my couch.
Yeah, it is probably easier.
Yeah.
But I'm a big snack person, and so like the longer you hike, the more snacks you can bring, and that's a win-win for me for sure. So,
what's your go-to snack?
Oh, okay. See, this is bad because I always have to have a pub sub, like no matter what, however long the hike is, whether it be like 2 miles or 15, 23, like I need a pub sub. So if Publix needs someone to sponsor, choose me.
Yeah.
So definitely that. I'm a big fan.
Started off strong. I'm not gonna lie. The pub sub is strong.
Pub sub is amazing, and I will say that anyone who's ever hiked with me has known that I'm like, y'all, how many more minutes do you want to break until I can like start eating my sandwich? So that's like my game plan. Twizzlers and or Swedish Fish are like the best kind of like energy booster.
Yeah, long burning energy.
Yeah, so instead of doing like those energy chews, I really like those. So I always pack those. And then like dried fruit, beef jerky. I think I packed enough snacks on this Mount Baker trip for like a whole week, and we were only hiking for 3 days. Yeah, like our bear canister was completely full. I could not put anything else in it. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's okay. I was well fed.
No, that's a good time. Yeah, I ate a Cliff Bar. I didn't eat all day, and then we played golf the other day, and I ate a Cliff Bar, and I wasn't hungry for the whole rest of the day.
Yeah, I don't work like that. I'm always eating snacks.
Dude, you cannot eat 2 Cliff Bars back to back.
Oh well, yeah, that's fair.
It's just impossible.
I mean, maybe if you're just playing golf, but if you're doing like intense sort of like workouts and things like that, I mean. Maybe
2 Cliff Bars is crazy.
Okay, that is
2 Cliff Bars is dense. Okay,
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Dense.
I think we had 2 to 3 Cliff Bars the day that we were summiting Baker because it was like fear of falling into the crevasses and the abyss, and
making sure you're full energy the whole time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, that's really, really cool. Well, look, I think what you do is really, really cool. I want to go somewhere with you.
Thanks.
I'm excited about it, especially seeing the stuff that you sent me about Ararat.
Yeah, there you go. Ararat.
Yeah. That is really, really cool.
Yeah. There's a good group going.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to doing something with you over the next 2 years. I know it takes a little bit of planning.
Yeah.
But I'm down. Sign me up.
Woo.
So last thing here, how we always end the podcast, right?
Okay.
Is a little. Have you heard "burn the ship" before? Like the allusion, the phrase, where it comes from?
I feel like I should say yes, but I'm gonna go and be honest here and say negative.
Really fair.
Yes.
Really, because when people are like, "Yeah, I've heard of it," I say, "Explain it to me." No, I'm just kidding. I don't really do
like
that.
Negative.
I wouldn't do that. I would feel bad actually if I did that. I'm not the put you on the spot kind of person, but Hernan Cortez, right? Spanish conquistador. He lands in Central America slightly later than Christopher Columbus lands in what is now the Bahamas, right? And so what he does is he's got like this Spanish armada of boats with him.
Okay.
And so he tells all his men to take all the supplies off of the boats and store them in one area and then disassemble all their ships and put all the wood in one fire and we're going to burn them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the reason he did that is because they're all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. And what he was, not only showing them that I am in control here is that we have to figure it out here and make it work or we're going to die. So if you don't do your work, you might kill all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that we draw that same illusion to business, right? Is like maybe the stakes aren't as grave, but if you don't burn the ship, your business most certainly will die eventually.
Yeah.
It's hard to move forward in small business without going all in at some point.
Right.
And I say that because maybe that point is different for everyone. You know what I mean? That point is different for you than when you're a teacher and someone else who's in the corporate world and someone else who's working for a nonprofit and someone else who's a stay-at-home mom. Like all of those points are very, very different. Maybe you want to dive in day one, and maybe you want to wait 5 years. You know what I mean? Sometimes it happens, and there is no right or wrong answer.
Right.
But what I want you to describe to us is, what does it feel like? Emotionally, and just all the excitement and fear and all those things that you experience of just diving all into your business and knowing that your future's kind of in your hands. What is it like?
I think it's exactly what you just described. It is the most exciting and terrifying experience and emotional kind of a thing that happens to you all at one time. So for me, I decided that I was going to leave teaching and I wasn't even sure if I was ready to be a full-time business owner. It was just one of those things where I'm like, hey, like it's growing too much. I can't do both at the same time. Like we're going to go all in. And as soon as I did that, Ventre's Adventures actually ended up taking off like way faster than I thought it was going to. So it's so exciting to see the things that are coming. I'm going to start a nonprofit for like an after school program for girls who want to be entrepreneurs. Like I'm so excited about that. I'm excited about, helping people just kind of like forge ahead and accomplish these big dreams that they have. So like that is awesome. It is terrifying because it is like all in your hands. So, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, they see like me traveling, and that's only really like the 10%, right? The 90% is the administrative stuff. Like, can I go grocery shopping? Do I have enough money coming in? How am I going to make, bills work while things are continuing to grow? Like, that's the part that's really scary. And yeah, if I don't continue to push myself forward in a way that is beneficial for Ventre's Adventures, then that's it. So I'm excited about seeing what it looks like to go all in. If it doesn't work, I can always go back to teaching. That was a wonderful first career, but right now I'm like super stoked to see where Ventre's Adventures takes me.
Sure. So. Well, trust me, I'm a big fan of yours.
Thanks.
I'm a big fan of yours, and what you do I think is dope.
Do you say it to everybody who comes on your podcast?
No.
Okay.
No. And you can go watch. You can. And,
that's good to know.
No, I'm very honest with everyone here.
Okay.
That is for sure. I've told people I don't believe. Like I've asked people questions and them giving me answers, and I say I don't believe that. I disagree. Like we disagree. This is an open forum for you to represent your business how you want.
I love it.
And if you want to represent it by saying stuff that we don't believe, that's cool. That's your choice.
Okay.
But I believe you.
Thank you.
And what it is that you're saying. That's why I'm a big fan. So no, I don't say it to everyone. That is not a diluted, watered down statement.
Thank you.
It still holds a little bit of weight. But no, I think what you do is really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. I aspire to help you in the things that you do as well, because I know that it comes from a good place. Because we've talked a lot. This isn't our first time talking, obviously, but I have a little 5-month-old girl. You know what I mean? Like I am fully invested in the young girl empowerment phase, and I think you're a badass example of that. You know what I mean? So if there's anything that we can do for you, our platform or our company or whatever it may be, let me know.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Sure. We'll do this again in the future.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe we'll do it on top of a mountain.
Maybe we'll do it on top of a mountain. I'm excited.
Cool. All right. Thank you.